How are they separate? Yeah.
Donation.
Because of that fact, I extend special appreciation to the government of Kenya and Uganda for putting together the interstate framework of cooperation for peace and socio-economic development for Turkana, West Pokot counties, and Karamoja region. As already known to you, Turkana County falls in the wider Greater Lakes and Northern Africa borderlands prone to conflicts, insecurity, and low human development indices. Despite that, these borderlands hold opportunities in terms of human and natural resources that can be tapped to grow local and national economies. This occasion of the launch of the African Borderland Center is indeed a remarkable recognition of our effort as stakeholders in the Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, and Ethiopia borderlands. It is also the realization of the good lessons and best practices of the cross-border initiatives for stable, peaceful, and economically productive Kenya and Uganda borderlands. The occasion also comes as a key outcome of sustained, successful, and structured local, national, and regional collaborative efforts involving Turkana County towards peace and stability in the Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, and Ethiopia borderlands. Since the inception of devolution, my administration and partners have made significant investments on peace and development for the borderlands of Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, and Ethiopia. Our considered priorities have been and remain to be strengthening peace building and conflict management mechanisms to create stable conditions for other sectoral programs, investing in rainwater harvesting to meet humans and livestock water needs, such as dams to facilitate transition from successful periods of drought, supporting implementation of a One Health program for human and livestock, disease surveillance and vaccination of livestock in the borderlands, enhancing market access, livestock trade, and value chain improvements to benefit pastoralists, promoting cultural and heritage tourism to increase revenues in local economies, and human capital development through establishment of schools in the borderlands. We have led successful cross-border peace engagements and intergovernmental meetings with counterpart administrations of South Omo in Ethiopia, Kapoeta State in South Sudan, and Karamoja districts in Uganda. The resolutions of such engagements formed the basis for structured implementation of peace and basic service delivery for transboundary communities in the shared borderlands. The annual Turkana County Cultural Festival, Tobonglore Annual Cultural Event, continues to serve as a means for cultural diplomacy among communities. Through celebrating shared culture, communities can better communicate, connect, interact, and rebuild trust, hence easier to manage conflict and refocus the region to socioeconomic development.
So we are really, and I am very proud to be here standing with you physically to launch the Africa Borderlands Center, a flagship of the Regional Bureau for Africa. I really sincerely want to thank Your Excellency Governor Nanok, the Governor of Turkana, for hosting us here in this beautiful county in full compliance with all the protocols on COVID-19 and allowing us to meet in what we call the new normal, so partially physically, but also the region is following us virtually. Our profound gratitude to you, CS Wamalwa, for your leadership and championing of the United Nations Development Assistance Framework in Kenya in your capacity as co-chair of the steering committee, but for your tireless efforts in making sure that the UN's work in Kenya proceeds unimpeded and delivers results for the Kenyan people. And we are proud to be a partner of yours since the inception of devolution with the 2010 Constitution and are here to walk this journey with you. Let me say that for UNDP, it was no coincidence to select Lodwar as the venue for launching today's event. Kenya has been a recognized champion and pioneer regionally and globally in advancing the cause of borderlands communities. Today's launch represents a milestone in UNDP's effort to expand the depth, scope, and impact of our interventions in facilitating sustainable peace and development in the border communities, which are in the periphery of their respective countries. The Borderlands Center seeks to position these spatially marginal configurations to key into the 2030 agenda and to this extent be able to benefit more from national development plans. The new center will open a new chapter in unleashing the creativity and harnessing the resilience of borderland communities in response to a host of complex security and development challenges. It will build on initiatives such as the UNDP project on support for effective cooperation and coordination of cross-border initiatives in Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia, SECHI, in southwest Ethiopia, northwest Kenya, Marsabit, Borana, and Dawa.
I try to give you only 3 brief messages from my side. And the first one might sound a bit odd to you, but in the plane it came to my mind. Why is it actually that cross-border matters and regional integration are so important for the European Union in our partnership with third countries? And then I looked back at the European Union integration, and actually it is exactly what Europe is about. You know, Europe has been created, and the European Union has been created out of conflict, out of tremendous conflict between countries and between borders. And in order to overcome this, and that motto of unity within diversity is something I think I would like to give you on the way. It is about maintaining the diversity that we all are and that we are across borders. But we need to build the unity in the regional integration, and I think that's something that IGAD, that the African Union and so many other integration processes in Africa want to drive forward. And so what the European Union has been doing at home over the last at least 40 years is creating regional integration. And a lot of this takes time as well, and a lot of money, a lot of resources, and a lot of structures have been put in place in order to really achieve cohesion, equality, and solidarity. And I think these are matters we need to take to heart as well. It is about cohesion, and you cannot achieve integration without seeing that the more underprivileged parts of Africa, let's say, are not deliberately being pushed, as the UN always says, leave no one behind and develop the ones that are the furthest behind to address their needs first. And I think that's what we have been doing in Europe as well. And that has been paying off actually in terms of seeing that we are where we are now in terms of all the problems we have within the European Union. But if you look at the big picture, this integration process, I think, has been a big success story, and I think is as well something within its tailor-made approach within the African Union, where you somehow be inspired as well to learn at least from how we are doing matters. And forward-looking, I think the European Union and the African Union, or the Africa Partnership, is a true partnership of mutual learning, where it's not just us coming to tell you what we have done good or bad. It's about having a dialogue together and learning from each other. And I think this is why we are so keen in partnering with you on regional integration and as well on matters around cross-border initiatives.
Launching today, and to thank the organizers of this event, and to thank Walid and the UNDP team for the choice of the theme, elevating voices from Africa's borderlands. These are voices that haven't been heard loudly enough for many years, because these are regions that have been historically marginalized. So today, listening to the presenters here, listening to the presentations here, we've heard voices of Hassan, we've heard voices of Miriam, and there's a young man from Turkana who is called Ekidor. We once heard his voice during one of the Tobungulore celebrations here. And this young Turkana boy sang a song. And he reminded us that for many years, since he was born, he used to hear of Kenya. And whenever anyone left this borderland region of Kenya and reached Kitale or went to Nairobi, they would always say, "We have come to Kenya." Because these borderland regions were not considered as part of Kenya for many years, and that is how marginalized communities on the borderlands felt. But through devolution, we came here, and the young man sang a song, and I remember his voice, and may it also be heard on this day. And he said, through devolution, we have come to realize that Turkana is part of Kenya. I'll just invite you to look behind me. There's a beautiful landscape. There are beautiful hills. Those hills have been here for millions of years. But in the recent past, through devolution, there's another hill. I don't know if you can see a brown hill. There's a pillar towering over all the other buildings. And that is a landmark that we as the devolution family celebrate. We are showing the fruits of devolution that are changing the landscape of Turkana. And Governor Nanok and the county government, the DG, we salute you, the leaders of Turkana County, for the good work you're doing. So this is a special occasion, as it accords us an opportunity to look back and take stock of what we have achieved in our period of engagement with our partners, and also to identify successes and our points of strength and growth, which is evident as I have shown you. In addition, it gives us an opportunity today to also chart our way forward while cognizant of our common bonds and objectives. Most importantly, it gives us an opportunity to better understanding of each stakeholder's strength that can be tapped in our common endeavor of scaling development for the borderland areas to greater heights. Borderlands, as referred to as to the broader territorial margins of our national states in Africa, include the Chad Basin, borderlands in the Sahel, the Mandera Triangle between Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia, the Liptako-Goma region between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and the Karamoja cluster between Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and South Sudan. The borderlands and their communities have unique characteristics with potential that must be unveiled and exploited for economic growth. Opportunities include rich cultural heritage, abundant natural resources, cross-border trade, and indigenous knowledge on adaptation to effects of climate change. However, insecurity, violence, and conflicts exacerbated by establishing challenges of climate change youth unemployment, cross-border migration, illicit flow of small and light weapons, poverty, and weak infrastructure pose a challenge to transforming these areas. I therefore commend UNDP on this great achievement of establishing this center that will provide research, policy, and analysis and programming, focusing on ways to unlock the potential of Africa's borderlands and transform the lives of communities in these areas. This is an advancement to the Africa Borderlands Unit established in 2019 to ensure inclusivity in the development of borderland regions of the African continent. And we want to thank IGAD for the leadership they have provided. I remember when we were in Uganda setting up the other development unit, it was a major step that we took. But today, establishing this center here, I think UNDP has given us a chance to strengthen this partnership. And I like the element of research, because there is so much in terms of policy interventions that need to be put in place for us to achieve what we're setting out to do. I once visited Oxford University, and there's a professor who once reminded us that science without policy is still science, but policy without research is gambling. And that is why, even as we're establishing this center, we want to look at issues of ensuring research and well-researched policies are put in place so that interventions that are meaningful and transformative are achieved on the ground. The governor has reminded us some of the areas that we need to focus on, and the biggest problem in most of these borderlands, most of whom are arid and semi-arid, is water. I think once you fix the water problem, you would have fixed half the problems, particularly the pastoralist communities living along these areas. Kenya, which has over the years held peace talks and hosted refugees fleeing conflicts in neighboring countries, stands to gain greatly from this center that will be an expert resource in understanding of the unique challenges facing the borderlands. The creation of a devolved system of governance in 2010 has helped to foster national unity, accountability, promote equitable development, and promote and protect interest of minorities and marginalized communities. The success stories on the gains of devolution include also creation of regional economic blocks to strengthen the capacity of county governments to collaborate and invest in major infrastructure projects that cut across the counties and across the regions. And in this region also, I think it will really help if this center that we're establishing, Walid, is able to work with regional economic blocks. We have Gulade here, FCDC. I think this center would work very effectively in partnership with FCDC. The 10 counties that are in the borderlands will really benefit from this center. We also have the NOREB, the North Rift Economic Bloc, that would bring together the other counties in this region to work with this center to see how we can benefit. But on the part of national government, I just want to assure you of continued support and strengthening of partnership between the national government and the county governments and our development partners, as well as private sector, as we work together towards realization of this. So I must say we're very proud that through the 2010 Constitution, the issue of marginalization that has long bedeviled the borderlands is now being addressed, because devolution is really the key to a more just case.
The challenges that have been highlighted here today repeatedly on the borderlands. And on that note, Mr. Godalo and Ajide Garba will be joining us virtually.
Shule imefunguliwa. Tuko na dom pale, iko na kitanda, iko na mattress, chakula tumeti. Hata walimu wako wale wa serikali. Napenda sana kusii jamii ya Masol na viongozi wote.
MCS wote, County Commissioner, PCC, wakuu wa serikali wote waliteka vizuri, shule iko mzuri. Ile kitu tunaomba ambayo sasa haijafanyika na ilikuwa kwa plan